I wanted to try and give everybody an understanding of the kind of person I am and what I'm trying to do here, really. It's very difficult when you sat in front of a camera. It's not natural to sit in front of a camera and just talk to it in your office like I am here in my home office. It can be quite disconcerting, a bit of red light fever. But I wanted to try and help other business owners that have potentially gone through the bitter pill of failure and don't know where to turn from there. I had a catastrophic business failure in 2007. It couldn't get any worse, to be honest, and I laugh about it now, but I certainly wasn't laughing then. I lost everything. I lost the house, I lost the cars, I lost £100,000 of my wife and I's life savings that we ploughed into the business. My wife wasn't even involved in the business. It was all down to me, and I had to shoulder that responsibility. And let's be fair, 9 out of every 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years, so there must be loads more people out there experiencing this kind of life-changing failure than it is success that these people talk about day in, day out on the internet, these life coaches and things like that, which more power to them. It's great, but there's nobody helps you through that lonely, dark time of when you've actually had a go at something and failed. I've been there. I had a go and I failed, and I failed massive time. I literally used to go around on a push bike or a pedal cycle because I couldn't afford a car. I didn't have a car. I'd lost it. I went personally bankrupt. I didn't have a penny. I couldn't even give my kids pennies to go to lunch with school. I couldn't do that. And do you know one of the favourite things I used to do? I play golf. Okay, I used to be a pretty good golfer. I used to play off low single figures, and I used to go and play golf with some friends. And the only way I could make ends meet is if I beat them on the golf course. So I used to go out every Saturday and I used to play for money that I didn't even have. And there's no pressure like having play for money that you haven't had. And I didn't lose. So I used to make ends meet for the week by doing that. I used to do gardening jobs for people. I used to do house clearances. I used to do cleaning jobs. And that's not my skill set at all. I come from a technology background, but that's what I did. That's what I had to do to keep food on the table and to keep the wool from the door, really. They were really, really hard times. And in honesty, because I've never failed before at anything, I'd always been pretty good. I did pretty well in school. And then I left and joined the Armed Forces here in the UK. I joined the Royal Navy, Her Majesty's Royal Navy. Spent 7.5 years travelling the world. And then I came out, got into technology sector, and then worked for myself and failed. And it was a bitter pill. I didn't understand. I blamed everybody else apart from myself, which was my first mistake. And it took me about 2 to 3 years to really make peace with myself, to really move on. And I wasted those 2 to 3 years. I wish I'd moved on sooner. And I'm not saying I could have done it in a week but I certainly could have done it in months, not years. If I just, someone at the time told me this failure lesson would be the best lesson I've ever had. It didn't feel like, there's no way it feels like that. And I think it's easy to say, but not very hard to believe. A lot of people tell you, yeah, it's a great lesson. And I'm telling you, it is a great lesson, but you won't feel like that right now. It's awful. It's woeful. I couldn't even mow the lawns for 2 years. What's that about? Couldn't mow the lawns. I couldn't stand the drone of the lawnmower because there's no one else to talk to. You can't talk, you can't listen to music really, so it was just me kicking my ass. How stupid I was, how pathetic I was, how stupid the decisions I made were, my business partner, everything. I just blamed everybody. Most of all, I blamed myself. And that cycle of pain, if you like, where you just keep going back to the same thing, and you can't affect it because it's happened. What you can do, obviously, is put it behind you and move on. But it took me a long, long time to do that. I had to go back into employment to feed the family. And that's no bullshit. That was just to feed the family. I had to go back to employment. It's not what I wanted to be, but I had to go back to do it. And then I eventually set back up on my own. On reflection, the lessons I'd learned, the hard lessons I'd learned by failing before, I put into practice in the new business, and I managed to grow that to in excess of £1 million turnover, employing 13 staff across 2 different countries, and I managed to exit that quite successfully last year. But what I did know is that my passion was for helping other business owners, for people that are going through potentially that bitter pill of failure, or maybe have set up a business and not quite sure how they can get themselves out of that business. The ones that are just constantly in it. I was with a customer last week and who said that they had their first holiday in 6 years because they were self-employed, and they had to cut it short by 8 days because the business was just failing because they weren't there. And I don't think that's a business, that's a job. So job to business, that's why I call it. It's a little flip on Michael Gerber's, that if you can't do that, you've got a job, not a business. And that's really what I wanted to help. There's loads of people out there that promise business owners help and rags to riches success stories. Loads of people out there trying to help, but they've never run a business before. I don't see how you can help another business owner if you haven't really run a business before. And it was really important for me to try and help other business owners, because it's a lonely old place being an entrepreneur. I mean, it's trendy to be an entrepreneur. Everybody calls yourself an entrepreneur nowadays, but being a business owner is bloody hard, and it's lonely. And what I wanted to do was try to show everybody that there can be a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you are going through that horrible bit where you failed at something, then let's make peace. Let's do some things that really helped me, some good routines, some little tips and tricks that had helped me along the way to get me back to where I needed to be, which if I'd known, I probably could have skimmed 2 years off, the path that I took, which I hope I can help other people do that as well. And that's what I really want to do. That's what From Job to Business is all about. That's what I'm all about. I haven't got anything to sell. I haven't got a book to sell at the moment. I haven't got a course. I haven't got an ebook. I haven't got anything. I just want to add value, really. I just want to help other business owners that are going through this, because I know they're out there. I know there's nowhere to go. Where can you go? You can't go to Federation of Small Businesses or BNI meetings, but because there's no people to talk to. I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to put my feelings out there, and I'm willing to tell you what I felt like and what it was like for me. And hopefully that can help you, inspire you to start again and go at it again, and be good for the family, be good for you, be good for your health, because kicking yourself and just not conducive to anything. You just need to get back. You need to get back to doing what you're good at. And hopefully I can inspire people to do that. That's because that's what I really want to do.